Through history, very interesting and fantastic civilizations have left traces in our world, waiting to be known. So, what was it like to live in ancient Egypt? Well, ancient Egypt is full of many enigmas, but, well, however, much of its culture has been uncovered and has become one of the ancient civilizations that have marked the history of mankind. Ancient Egypt is one of the most fascinating episodes in the history of Europe and universal history. Not in vain lays that three millennial, and today we will have the opportunity to know how they conceived and formed their families, their beliefs, their education, where they based their economy, their food, and some other information. But before we begin to describe the style of this civilization, let's see how ancient Egypt began and when it ended. Ancient Egypt began in the year 3150 BC. At the time, with some cities that were located at the Nile Valley decided to unify during this period of human history and culminated when the Roman Empire conquered this territory through of Alexander the Great and his army. Okay, among this great and developed civilization, we can find some important characteristics regarding their lives, such as its social composition. Egyptian civilization was divided by status. First, there was the pharaoh, who headed a theocratic government, followed by the other members um, of the nobility. Then there were the officials, priests, scribes, army chiefs, the people, and finally the slaves. In addition, the construction of the cities were solid. The cities were located very close to the Nile, and the floors of the houses and streets were made of sand. The construction of the cities in which the pharaohs and other influential people lived were very imposing for the time, despite having narrow streets. However, the latter was intended to provide shade for them. Likewise, the palaces and villas were.
Likewise, forming a family was more of important purpose that was solely the confirmation of the unit in economic aspect in which the children received from their parents, the training on the diverse traits that they would exercise as soon as they were of suitable age. Already in adolescence, the men would have the responsibility to go out to work and to obtain the sustenance on the role that the woman played in the house. And there are fewer records because, in fact, there is no archaeological evidence on the matter, although it's known that as far as the legal rights, the Egyptian women they had equal condition. And for their part, the beliefs of the Egyptians were so extensive. The ancient Egyptians had diverse and complex beliefs, since they believed in several gods to whom they attributed the control of nature and everything that composed it. The aspect in which they coincided was the fact of the relationship between divine beings and humans. They also sought those favors through the practice of black magic. The result served to appease the wrath of the gods against the people. And the inhabitants saw the pharaoh as the representation of the god. He was like the intermediary between the gods and humans. Therefore, the people attribute divine power to their monarch. The ancient Egyptians believed that in life after death, they lived always thinking about the funerary practices, and they built majestic tombs in which not only embalmed and body of the deceased would enter, but all his belongings, which he would need in afterlife. That explains why they were concerned about the inclusion of an object and an offering for them. Their gods could take the appearance of animals, such as the god Anubis, character of the mummies.